Well, everybody, I'm in good spirits, as I'm sure some fans are, those who have made it to the next round of the FA Cup, because Fulham have done it!
Yeah.
Yes! Come on! I was so relieved.
Yeah, you have to be pleased for them because they found it very, very inexplicably. Let's be absolutely clear.
Yeah.
They have found it a banana skin Man United over and over again.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Because
everyone else is filling their boots.
Yeah, but Fulham won their last season. You think, okay.
Yeah.
That's when the levy breaks.
The worry was they put the voucher through the wash, wasn't
That's
it?
right, that's right. But the voucher still had a teensy semblance of a barcode left, and they just about managed in the end.
The problem is you can't use that voucher alongside any other offer. It has to be used separately.
Yeah, well, Silva found it just in time, didn't he?
He did.
He found it when Victor Lindelöf stepped up to take a penalty.
Yeah, slapped him around the face with it.
Indeed.
You should be winning that at home.
Yeah.
You should be winning a penalty shootout at home in front of your own fans, surely.
He's forgotten Euro 2020, hasn't he?
But it felt it felt inevitable, doesn't it? As it often does in these games where, you always think, kind of the team with a higher status are probably going to go through on penalties and this will be very boring.
Well, you got the painted penalty algorithm.
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at the Emirates when Manchester United won the penalty shootout. I mean, there's two, Jim, for you.
Yeah, straight away, Jim. You standing by
I'm
it?
talking about the feeling, and I'll refer.
Jim's gone on vibes.
I'll refer to you in the WhatsApp group. I don't fancy Fulham on penalties.
Yeah, I
here.
know, and I mugged you all off.
Yeah.
You all fell for it, and so did Man United.
rope-a-doped us.
It was worse than that because he also said, but Leno never saves penalties.
Is that what he said?
That was the tone I read it in, just so
It's
you know.
amazing how I managed to convey that tone.
Snivelling little worm.
But like I say, Peter, it was all
It was all Leno. It was all Leno.
Yeah, it was
unstoppable, monostoppable rather.
It was all a trick, and the trick worked because after the 1-1 draw, Fulham won, of course, 4-3 on penalties. Didn't need the fifth one.
No.
Didn't need it.
Keep that in your locker.
I think they should make them do them anyway.
No, I think you should get to keep
Practice
it for next
them.
time. You've won the penalty shootout so efficiently.
Yes.
You get extra ones, you carry them over.
That's right. I mean,
Man City have got 42 penalties.
Sander Berger's penalty was so good, and Anthony Robinson was so calm. I think that just meant like, hey, you got an extra goal in there somewhere.
I never felt like Robinson was going to miss.
No.
Nah.
That
I
was
never
so
felt
cool.
I mean, it was. I'm not sure if Robinson sent the kick because, like, so many players now do that stuttery run up where they wait. Like, it seems to be the norm. Whereas it wasn't that long ago where it was just one or two players, and it obviously can be quite effective. I'm not sure Robinson did that. Yet his finish suggested that he waited for the keeper to move.
Yeah, I think he sort of did it with aura, didn't he? Because he was so calm, so collected that the goalkeeper did go a little bit early. Mm-hmm. So I think they're all had the whole of the goal to choose where he was going to score.
They're always looking for, because they're such good athletes, such good reaction times and stuff like that. They're always looking for like a barely perceptible movement of balance of weight. Because as you know, when you go one way as a goalkeeper, it's very hard to go the other way again. That's basically what they're doing. I don't know what Robinson was thinking, but I never felt like he wouldn't score personally. But anyway, the game itself was pretty interesting for its tepidness on Man United side, I would say.
Yeah,
tepidity or tepidness?
Tepidity. I like tepidity.
Tepidity. We'll go with that.
Bassey looked very excited about scoring, but he's clearly not been following along, has he? Really, he shouldn't be that excited.
It's expected.
It's expected.
Yeah.
Lovely header, but
Well, it's only I think his second goal for Fulham because it's his first one for.
But
Forest.
this is Man United at Old Trafford we're talking about.
It's
It's
true, yeah.
easier than that.
it's not even a voucher anymore. It's like a laminated card.
It's not even a stadium, it's just a gigantic barrel full of fish.
Yeah.
And you've got a fucking elephant gun.
Blunderbuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Fulham looks a little bit blunt in attack, which is really the area where they can improve the most, I would say. Manchester United did eventually kind of get it together, though, because it looked like it was drifting to a 1-0 Fulham victory, which, I was all for. But then Bruno Fernandes pulls out a moment of magic, really.
Brilliant goal. Just the curl on it through a forest of legs is brilliant. Whatever Roy Keane might think about it.
He's going to have a lovely sort of compilation of goals by the end of his Manchester United career and nothing to show for it.
League Cup and FA Cup?
Sorry,
Not
the
in the
League
Premier
Cup
League,
and the
is it?
FA
Not in the
Cup.
Premier League, is it? It's the end of his Premier League career.
Right.
Did you say end of his Premier League career?
I'm going to say yes, but I think the listeners will know that I didn't.
Be more specific or he'll just mug you off.
Right, okay, fine.
It was a lovely goal. And then from there, Man United did spark into life a little bit. Got in behind Fulham a bit more. Leno had to be...
He was amazing.
He had to be...
one-handed save to the top right.
Oh, what a save that was.
What a save.
Beauty.
Yeah.
It was interesting. United looked better when Chido Obi came on, didn't they? Who is an actual child.
Yes.
And is probably threatening to take Rasmus Højlund's place in the national team as well as in the Man United team. He's also Danish. But yeah, they got in behind a couple of times. I thought aside from that, you're always going to have that with Garnacho as the outball, right? I thought Fulham were quite compact after they conceded, because you worry that it's going to be the same old stories we were sort of referring to earlier. But I thought, Silva didn't blink, essentially, did it? He had them pretty well drilled on how to get through that.
When Fernandes scores, I was like, don't do this again. Don't do this. Don't.
I assumed it would happen.
Yeah, because you feel the momentum. Because it's interesting how you guys assess the game, because I totally understand that Man United grew into it, certainly through the second half, and they looked more likely, and I understand Leno had to do what he had to do. But I also feel a bit like Fernandes grabs them by the scruff of the neck and drags them on. Even the goal he scored, it's a really poor cross. The cross should be better. It's a really bumpy, bobbly ball across when he had loads more time to do something with it.
And someone should be tighter to Fernandes.
They should, and it was who was it? He drifted off him, Smith Rowe, I think.
Smith Rowe, but then Sander Berge could have
come in
much better at that kind of thing.
Definitely. So I just feel like the Bruno Fernandes energy is what really drags Man United through this type of thing.
Well, it happened against Everton, didn't it?
It did.
2-0 down and going absolutely nowhere.
And they arguably should have gone 3-0 down.
Oh, they should have done.
Yeah.
But Everton wouldn't have believed that they lost.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't. It felt
and
like
they were very
loss.
lucky to escape without a penalty against them in the last minute as well.
But it was Fernandes' free kick, and then suddenly that.
Yeah, he'll win a free kick out wide and put a ball in, or he'll go past a player and draw a foul, or he'll score, or he'll put something on a plate for someone, or that's how it feels like. And I think actually,
it feels like Man United players go, oh, we are allowed to score.
Yeah.
We're allowed to kind of have a bit of something.
You can't look at you can't really look at any other player. And I know that Dalot was the player I've just criticised putting the cross in, but overall I think Dalot has carried himself pretty well as an outfield player at United in this era, and I thought he did okay yesterday. But I'm struggling to think of a single other outfield player that did anything of note for United, and that's the problem with them. And we should make it about Fulham, because it's always going to be good to go to Fulham, to go to Old Trafford, and come away with the things. Particularly in the cup game, it's great. Yeah. Fulham have never won the cup, right? You want them to be in there. So it's great they've done it, but Amarim's frustrated quotes after every single game just become more and more kind of understandable, really. I suppose at some point you have to argue that he's got to take responsibility for it as well, though.
Yes, he's probably good till the summer.
He's basically,
with regards to all that kind of stuff, and I still think that could be seen as a touch generous, because it has been pretty.
No, because I think he comes in such a maelstrom. It's hard.
No. When I stress just a teensy bit generous, because I would have expected a little bit more something. But anyway, whatever. I think
he's basically insisting on playing a way that doesn't suit any of the players he's got, and he's not deviating from that, is he? So you could argue there's a bit of stubbornness in there, mate.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, and bearing in mind, up until yesterday, they're still left in 2 cup competitions. So there's something to play for. But yeah, he's good till the summer with regards to just saying, yeah, we're a load of old crap, aren't we? Blah 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 blah. That's got to change next season.
What he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever my feeling is on that teensy little tiny bit, you can argue the toss about that. The bigger picture is he's fine until the summer, and then
maybe around October it might get a bit dicey.
Exactly, maybe.
No other walk of life. We just had the Oscars, like Peter Jackson did an amazing trilogy across 7 years of work. Well, the actors are shit. They are shit. And I thought by the middle of the second film they would be getting better and taking on some of my ideas, but they cannot act.
Exactly. Yeah.
The makeup department. It's embarrassment.
I just wanted George Clooney to have a supporting role, and he kept taking the lead. It was all over the place. I don't understand. It's like, choose a different actor then.
They're not reading the script.
Yeah,
they are not reading the script.
Who hired these people? It was the guy. There was the director before you. Yeah, I know what you mean. But Manchester United, the holders are out. It's the earliest Manchester United have exited the FA Cup as holders since 1997. I missed as holders when I first saw that stat, and I was like, hang on, as holders.
I would love to see the sort of filing cabinet with these Man United stats in it.
Oh, yeah.
At every broadcaster. It must be gigantic.
That one came from Match of the Day. Lineker said to the team during the day, get me a stat.
Yeah.
Get me on.
And I imagine he said it exactly like that.
Well. I think the filing cabinet's probably in Liverpool, and they go, yep, next one. Yeah, there you go. Loads of them here.
It's probably a Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And also, if Man United fans, I don't know if they are or if they aren't, but if Man United fans are not adapting Maria McKee's Show Me Heaven for Aid in Heaven, I will be very, very disappointed.
What, a bit of Bryan Adams as well you could have?
What, I'm in heaven?
It doesn't work.
Nah, that's a bit rude.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Sounds like you penetrated a man.
But you can change the words, as they often do.
You can change the words, you can indeed.
But with regard to Fulham, they haven't won the FA Cup. They've never won a major trophy, as you know. They'll play Crystal Palace in the next round. And considering...
At home, isn't it?
At home.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very aware that Palace just went to Craven Cottage recently in the league and bossed it at 1-2-0.
2-0. But one of their major stars has his face in 2 right now. So
that's right, yeah. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
So there's
Harvey
that.
Dent.
Yeah. But I mean, when the draw is made and Fulham are drawn at home against I think it's the only team in the Premier League who are, well, okay, Villa are a place below Fulham, but I don't think anybody would argue that Villa are not a better team than Fulham. So Fulham have essentially avoided all the teams that I think everybody would agree are better than them.
Yeah, you've got a relatively even match, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting draw. And at first...
I mean, also Preston North End obviously be the other one, but Preston North End beat Fulham in the League Cup, so it was like, well, maybe it's best to avoid them as well.
When I first saw the two teams come out, if I put myself in the kind of mould of a Fulham fan, you're like, yeah, take that all day long.
Yeah.
But when you start to think about it more, you think about how Crystal Palace are one of the best away teams in the league.
Yes, and
they've
as I say,
already beaten
recently
Fulham,
beat them, yeah.
And I think Fulham against Man United, obviously shortly before the draw, they got through it, but far too many teams still are playing against the idea of Man United rather than the Man United themselves. And I think they don't quite believe themselves that they can do it. Like they look at the shirt and they go, it's Man United.
Well, I think that's when Man United scored. Fulham felt like that, didn't they?
100%.
So which is why when
they need to get past that.
Yes.
Because they're going to have to still beat some good teams if they want to win this trophy.
Of course, yeah, and to go on the win the tie, so it was obviously joy, but it was also a bit of relief because again, Fulham are a better team than Manchester United. I know it sounds ridiculous saying it.
Oh no, but if
they
they'd lost
absolutely-
that penalty shootout,
Yes.
we'd be talking about what a missed opportunity it
Totally.
was and how Fulham played within themselves.
Indeed, yeah, and there's another opportunity I say because I again fully aware Palace fans that Crystal Palace went to Craven Cottage and were brilliant and were worthy winners of their 2-0 victory.
And
there.
they're in a good moment as well.
Totally, yeah, but to avoid Brighton, Forest or Ipswich, you would imagine it would be Forest, although our ball hasn't been kicked there. But to avoid Villa, as I say, Preston beat them in the cup. Bournemouth and Man City, you kind of take it, but you take it knowing, that Palace are a very good side.
I think also though one of the dimensions to this tie is that it's a much more glamorous game than the league tie, the league game. That we talked about this before the Palace game, and then obviously we reiterated it after the Palace game as it regards Fulham, where they just look past games.
Yeah.
They look past games at home that they don't fancy getting up for. It's so frustrating. If I supported them as a team, I'd be so frustrated by it. And now, but when you're playing Crystal Palace at home in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, you win it, you go to Wembley.
Yeah.
It's a different dimension.
Well, it is.
So you'd hope that Marco would be bringing out the big guns and drilling them properly and setting them up the same way he seems to set them up against a team when there's a chance to get a big scalp. That's what you could hope for, I think, as a Fulham fan.
Well,
right?
and with that recent loss at home to Palace, there's no excuse now. So it could give them.
Also, you were full of praise for Adama Traore, and he went off injured, sadly.
He did. Yeah, it was a shame. It's a shame. I mean, yeah, Fulham. As I say, in attack, I think Fulham have got some nice options. It is just.
Getting them together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the two forwards they've had have chipped in, and Jimenez has had a good season, but having that striker who's maybe going to get you 15 plus a season.
Yeah, you mean
but then
back.
how many teams, including Arsenal, you know what I mean, say this. So it's the same thing. But we must move on to Palace 3, Millwall 1. And the story of this game, of course, was Liam Roberts being sent off after 8 minutes for kicking Jean-Philippe Mateta in the head.
Schumachered.
Yes.
He got Schumachered.
Was it a sending off, Luke?
I just honestly found, and I hope I don't bring the mood down saying this, I just thought this was an astonishing passage of play. Possibly the worst passage of play I've seen in English football for such a long time. Like, it was absolutely disgraceful. Not only the and I don't want to be too harsh on Liam Roberts because he's making a decision that, the heat of the moment. I'm sure he didn't mean to hurt anyone.
He connects with the ball.
Yeah, I'm not blaming him as a human being, or I'm not suggesting he should go to jail or something. But it was a really, really bad decision from him, and the outcome could have been like horrific, and the outcome was just very bad. So we could be thankful for that. But the commentary of the incident was just disgraceful. It was absolutely pathetic, I thought. They had no idea what they were looking at. They kept kind of making excuses about whether the referee's done, the referee's not done that. And I'll come on to the referee in a minute because I think he was the worst of the lot. It was really, really apparent to me, just as a viewer, that if you're going to be a commentator and a co-commentator on this broadcast, you need to be able to translate what's going on to the audience. That's your job. It ain't about your personality or having fun or whatever. You're supposed to be saying what's happening, and they didn't do it. And then Michael Oliver, I mean, should be thoroughly ashamed of himself.
I can't believe he didn't see
He should. There's two main reasons for it, right? One is far more important than the other one. The first one that isn't as important is that, if you can't see that's a red card, then you shouldn't be refereeing at that level. Simple as that. It's simple as that. But the most important thing is, didn't stop the game.
Yeah, well, that beyond me.
So he has to be thoroughly chastised for that. He has to be punished in some way for that, because the main basic responsibility of a referee at any level is to protect the players. And the second point is, as I said, I'm not blaming Liam Roberts personally for it. I don't think he should, have a Duncan Ferguson and go to jail or whatever.
There's a rush of blood and all that.
But he should get a very, very big ban for that. He should.
The astonishing thing for me about him not stopping the game is, even if giving him a huge benefit of the doubt, for whatever reason he's not got a clear view of the incident, or his mind's wandered, or whatever, that's the highest boot you've ever seen straight away. Yeah. That's like straight away. It's so clear, even without the impact, even without the awful thing that happened. Yeah, absolutely. It's really it suggests that he's waiting for VAR to kind of
Oliver Glasner
decide it for him, doesn't it?
The thing I talk about all the time on the show.
Look at his ear.
To be so boring about it. What do I say on the show all the time? They just letting VAR referee the game for them now. They don't want to make a decision.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a situation where a player. Oliver Glasner came out after the game and said, he spoke to the medical staff, he spoke to Mateta. Thankfully, he's going to be fine. Obviously, he's got a serious amount of stitches in the side of his head. It's not ideal, but ultimately he'll be fine. But he said if it was like a few centimetres to the other way, it would have ended his career. It would have blinded him. That would have been that.
The way his head goes back with the impact is awful.
If we cannot get behind the fact that referee, I know it's poor form to dig out referees. I know it's hard. I get it, and it can be boring to listen to. So I apologise. But honestly, that if you want to be the referee that kind of prances around doing this and doing that and sending people off all the time, which Michael Oliver does all the fucking time, by the way. You need to be able to see this. Like, if you cannot see this in real time and make a decision quickly, more importantly, instantly stop the game and be bringing the medical kids.
That's the worst thing, isn't it? Really?
So bad.
That is
so bad.
I mean, the red kind of could be, well, I didn't really see what.
Maybe I'm at a wrong angle or whatever. Yeah.
But I think stopping the game is clearly a head injury. I mean, half his ear's hanging off. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, you saw Steve Parish at half time when he was interviewed.
Yeah, I thought that was ill-advised as well.
Which probably, I think, but you could see how that affects him.
He was so upset about it that he couldn't not do the interview, which is, I think, it's kind of understandable on a human level, but I think as an owner of a club, you're probably better off just not doing that.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. And some people say, well, Liam Roberts got the ball first. Well,
it's irrelevant.
This idea that if you get the ball first, you can then do whatever. Yeah, you can do whatever after that is. I mean, it's old-fashioned at best.
Yeah.
And again, this idea when you get dickheads like Joey Barton, well, contact sport, move on. Well, actually, there's often a debate about football. Is it a contact sport? Is it a semi-contact sport? It's not a contact sport in the same way like rugby is. But the fact of the matter is, the boot is out. And I know that if a forward goes in with a diving header and a defender tries to clear and boots the forward in the head, yes, there's a debate there. I understand. But the forward, I'm blaming it forward if he does that. But putting the head where the foot naturally kind of would be going for the ball. When Roberts jumps out, when he goes that high with the boot and the head, you have to get it cleanly and make sure that there's no one in the vicinity.
I just don't think you should be doing it.
Well, of course not, but that's what I mean. No one in the vicinity. So nobody.
He can go with his own head if he wants.
No one around him. So if he does that, and Mateta was say 5 yards to one side or something, well, of course that's fine because it's you're just volleying a ball in open play. But the fact is, if you do that kind of thing and you smack someone on the head and do that kind of injury, you are going to be punished for dangerous play. It's just as simple as that.
He has to get a big ban.
Well, I just don't understand why anybody would say, but he got the bit again.
Yeah.
If you get the ball,
it's reckless, isn't it? It goes above and beyond any attempt to play the ball.
And I understand for Liam Roberts' point of view. I get the fact that he is going for the ball. Yeah, I understand that the intention is pure. I don't think anybody would think for a moment that he's going to clear Mateta out like that. No. But that's not the point. The fact is, he jumps up there. You put your boot up there. You're in.
This is the risk.
Exactly, yeah. And you see what happened. And my goodness, we hope, the reports are that he's okay. And he just, unfortunately for Mateta,
he's put a statement out there, hasn't he, saying that he's going to be okay.
Yes.
He's back stronger than ever and all that stuff, which is great. The outcome, as ever with these types of things, the outcome isn't necessarily the main point anyway. Because sometimes you see really brutal injuries and no one's at fault.
Cool.
And sometimes you see dreadful challenges, like the lad from Man United the other day. Who walked for a terrible challenge, and thankfully no one was injured. But the reality is, like, you have to be protective of the players in that situation. It's a rush of blood to the head. He's made a decision that at the moment. It's early on in a big game on telly. I get it, but I just don't think anyone at all showered themselves in any kind of glory whatsoever. I mean, it got to the point on the broadcast, right, where the commentary team watching the third replay of it and saying, "Oh, it just depends whether Michael Oliver's going to, overturn his decision." Are you blind? Like, he's basically studs up in the head at the full pace, right? I mean, Big Pav texted me saying it's great goalkeeping.
Yeah, no, there you go. They are.
They never cut to him, do they?
No, exactly.
Peter Walton, this, Mike Dean, that.
Yeah, we shouldn't need video assistant referees, and we shouldn't need commentators of decades of standing. I think it was Jonathan Pearce, been around since we were in short trousers, not being able to see that. Yes. Would be my takeaway. But I hope Mateta does as well. And I'm don't know how much more Andy Brassel fueled abuse he's going to have to put up with.
Well,
now Brassel's taking hits out on him.
Yeah.
He's had a word.
Yeah. Another man who had a bad afternoon for very different reasons was old Tanganga.
Yeah,
who scored an own goal and then inadvertently assisted Munoz for the second. I mean, that's just unfair on him.
Yeah, really. It's unlucky, isn't it?
I mean, it was a chaotic little scene.
I saw that and I thought, he probably could go back to Spurs.
Yeah. But what about Eddie Nketiah, Jim Campbell?
Another goal for Eddie Nketiah. It's nice to see him consistently on the score sheet. Presumably, he's going to have a little bit of a run in the team now, which is what he's wanted. And we spoke the other day about how clearly sort of together that Palace squad look and how full of praise they were for Nketiah and how supportive of him they were. So you would imagine that would continue. And it as we touched on, it must be an exciting time to be a Palace fan now, especially going into an FA Cup quarter-final, because you look around that team and there is just quality everywhere. Daniel Munoz is starting to get his flowers a bit now, but he has been a real standout performer for them, and he's scoring goals as well, doing a little bit of everything. But all over that pitch, you look at those players and you go, yeah, Lacroix, he's that's a decent addition. Just it's an exciting time for them. This has overshadowed the performance. I know it's obviously a championship team down to 10, so they've won it fairly comfortably. So it's not something that there's a huge amount of kind of to effuse about anyway. But it is still a shame. There was talking about it at all.
There was only kind of like when Millwall scored just before half time, kind of gave you half time to go, okay, this could get quite interesting. But at the same time, I just felt a little bit grim because he didn't know what was happening with Mateta. And it was a bit like, I know that if it was genuinely serious, they would have called the game off and stuff. But the fact that Harding was able to score for Millwall just before half time, as I said, means that you're like, okay, it could be interesting in the second half. Crystal Palace get frustrated. Maybe, I know it's kind of perhaps a bit un-PC to say, but if they're all worried about Mateta as well, it could have got interesting. Yeah. But they managed to get the job done. I think that's why Nketiah's goal was actually a really important goal for them. It was. Because it was 10 minutes from time and they were still only 2-1 at that point. So, I mean, that's a really interesting tie, that Fulham Crystal Palace.
It is. Well, and Palace will fancy it as well.
Absolutely, and rightly so.
And they'll be relieved that they avoided some, a handful of names. And I never go in for the whole, well, if you want to win the competition, you got to beat the best. No. Keep your powder dry. Do you know what I mean? You can't raise it every single round. It never really happens. Yeah.
Pompey won at Old Trafford the year they won at Big Boy.
That's right.
It's a great
dominant display, wasn't it?
We didn't need penalties, but
we did need one.
Yeah, we did. Okay, we needed penalty, but that's all we needed.
Yes,
but the omens could be there for you, mate.
Could well be.
Yeah,
could well be.
It just seems like a lovely fixture to attend. I think Palace Fulham in the spring sunshine. Oh, beautiful!
Come with me, you coward.
Come with me, you coward.
Too frightened. He's too frightened.
Okay then, chaps. Coming up after this, Mateus Cunha had quite the afternoon in bonny Bournemouth.
What's your go-to meal deal? I don't think I've ever had a meal deal.
What sandwich would you get? Like chicken,
jam,
bacon?
Welcome back to Football Ramble, everybody. Cole Palmer's meal deal. Never had one, but his go-to sandwich is jam.
Jam.
And of course, who sent us that, Jim?
Jam hands.
Jam hands.
Jam hands.
Is he a wasp?
Yeah, it could be.
It could be a
I love
fly.
Does have hands?
Probably
not. I hope not.
He means Cole Palmer.
He means Cole Palmer.
Loves his
jam
jam.
hands. Jam hands might be completely agnostic about the whole jam experience.
Why can't you walk into a Sainsbury's and they sell a jam sandwich?
I would imagine because they wouldn't be big sellers.
Yeah.
For kids?
If the manager of Sainsbury's started selling jam sandwiches, you'd sort of be looking in that trench coat and sort of see.
There's a universal booking ordering system, and it's not just individual Sainsbury's managers saying.
I thought they made the sandwiches themselves.
Sandwich, see if it goes.
Let's start a little side hustle in my own shop.
All right, the CEO of Sainsbury's. Are you two children in a trench coat?
He's not choosing the sandwiches.
Oh, well, who's choosing the sandwiches then?
Some kind of design buying manager or something?
Sandwich designer.
Yeah.
I've worked in a sandwich factory. None of you have.
How did it
I'm
go?
all over it.
How did it go?
They threw me out for making jam sandwiches.
What sandwiches were you making in the sandwich?
Egg mayonnaise.
Oh, that's depressing.
I love
depressing,
it.
yeah.
We always find out every now and then.
Yeah, I know,
we
yeah.
find out. Where was the
Egg mayonnaise on an industrial scale.
I tell you, you're doing the bacon, he's doing the egg mayo.
Yeah.
It's a great
Fantastic.
combo.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of egg mayo.
No, fair enough.
Where was,
Not the
was
way I
this?
made it.
No.
Not with all that
mayo.
jam in it.
How old were you when you were doing this?
19.
19.
Melton Mowbray. The finest Ginsters
Oh,
sandwiches.
so this is
with
when you were,
Ginsters.
this is when you were at uni then?
Yeah.
Which Jamie Vardy lives now, is that right?
He might have tasted one of my sandwiches.
He might
I can
have.
imagine him eating an egg mayonnaise.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning with a Red Bull.
How about that? Well, you can become a friend of the Ramble too by heading over to patreon.com/Football Ramble. You can tell us all about your sandwich making skills and whatnot. You'll also get access to the Discord and get ad-free episodes of the Ramble up front and on the continent, all for just $5 a month. And of course, you'll get an extended version of every Wednesday Ramble. To listen, just head to patreon.com/Football Ramble, where you'll find the fun.
Marcus,
Now-
before
yes.
we move on, can I just say that, speaking of sandwiches, Claudio Ranieri got a Philadelphia Award, Manager of the Month Award, from the good people at the spread company Philadelphia.
Huh, why are they involved?
I don't know, but
They've
when
just
I
done their
read the
own
title, I
independent
thought he'd
thing.
moved to MLS or something.
He's at the Union. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
That's weird.
So in Italy, it's that award
It's
is sponsored by Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's the Philadelphia
You'd imagine
Manager of the
Italians would
Month.
hate Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
It's not an
rubbish,
authentic
isn't it?
product, is it?
Yeah.
The league needs the money.
Yeah. Where's the money going?
Yeah,
No
well.
one knows.
Ask Juventus.
Philadelphia, wow, that is
Wow.
crazy. Good to know.
Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1, 5-4 on pens to Bournemouth. They've done it. They've reached the quarterfinals for only the third time in their history.
Yeah.
History beckons.
It's a good reminder, isn't it? Those kind of statistics are good reminders that teams like Bournemouth are enjoying the best period of their
Yeah.
history, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not even close.
I mean,
right?
Brighton did the other one. Didn't they?
Brighton's another
absolutely.
example.
A lot of good stuff on the south coast.
I like it when teams are really successful really quickly out of nowhere, which means the club haven't been able to put up the price of the tickets or price of the season tickets. So you sort of go, oh, they've had a free one there. Next season they're going to be bumped up by hundreds, aren't they?
You're suggesting the ownership at Bournemouth are surprised. They wake up in the morning and go, oh, fucking hell, we're in the Premier League.
Oh no!
We've done no plans. We've actually done no plans.
15 quid to get in. Oh, what have we done? What have we done?
We're still charging 2 and 6 to get in because back in the 50s, we were in
Wooden
the fourth
seats.
division.
Well, they're putting too much time into their, sandwich-based side hustles.
It's good
presumably.
point, actually, yeah.
Exactly. Can I, before we get into the nuts and bolts of this game, I know what the big story is.
Do ya?
My position is firmly that you should not be punishing Mateus Cunha for having a good old-fashioned night at Bournemouth.
Yeah. Good old.
Having a punch-up with a Hungarian? Oh, you can't do that these days. Oh, pathetic.
Walk
Let me back
nonsense.
in! Let me back in!
Yeah. Absolutely
It was
outrageous.
proper old. It's been a funny weekend, hasn't it?
I love the general tone of this game was a ringing endorsement for the FA Cup, because if you watch this game with someone who doesn't like football, they might go, so is there some reason that Bournemouth and is that Wolverhampton? Is there some reason they absolutely hate each other? Brilliant.
Kirkes is an underrated wind-up match.
Yeah, he is. Do you
I
know
saw
what,
him at
though?
Fulham. He was like that at Fulham.
He's a brilliant player, and a fair play to him though for actually not
go
doing
down.
the theatrics, and a number of people.
I think he knew it had been stuck on hard enough that the referee would have
Yeah,
seen
but-
it.
but
And it was his third bit of punch, kick,
Well,
header.
fine, but you don't need to do all the bollocks.
No.
Well, I said this
Point
about
at your own head.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with VAR, I suppose you don't need to. I suppose, do you?
And
I
Cunha-
suppose.
oh, but the referee saw that. There was plenty to see. Yeah, like honestly, it was
Plenty of meat.
Yeah,
He was still going.
I think the Bournemouth players were like any one of them, ref. You know?
he was still going out down the tunnel.
Yeah.
He got pissed off with one of the security guards, like trying to manhandle him.
Quickly took his glasses off.
I was
Like,
about-
oh, you're
I
not
was
getting
saying-
that from
I was
here.
about to say it reminded me of when he stole someone's glasses.
But
He
in
was,
context,
he
don't
was
do that.
right among the Bournemouth staff as well, wasn't
Yeah.
he? So I
Yeah.
think he was all more kind of het up because of that.
I love it.
And on
his goal.
I thought until that he did all that, I thought, oh, he's nailed on for Arsenal in the summer. He's a very Arsenal type player, I think. And now, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
You say he's too hard though.
I think,
Too mental.
You don't want to upset people.
No, I think
You know.
Arsenal. I mean, it's the Arsenal, and they're all gentlemen. So you wouldn't fit in there.
No, I think that's it. I
Terrible disciplinary record, though. So
Yeah,
maybe he will.
I could have seen him going to Arsenal in the summer personally, but after that, I think Is it too much?
It's coupled
not
with
the first time.
with the glasses thing.
That's what I mean.
Marcus, does it change your mind that in the dressing room he retweeted, however you retweet something on Instagram, redo it or whatever, of the BBC website of him celebrating his goal?
I like that.
He's just been sent off.
They won't remember. They won't remember. Oh,
Let's not forget what else happened on the pitch, which was a beauty.
It was a lovely one.
Beauty.
Before we get into that in any detail, though, Marcus, I really had an important pressing question for Jim and Pete, if that's okay with you.
Right. Okay. Is it about me?
No, it's not about you.
Okay.
But you want to step out the room
It's
for
an
a minute?
intervention.
You guys both wear glasses every day.
Yeah.
Is it seen as like very like brutally offensive for someone to take your glasses?
No one's ever
yeah.
done that to me.
Yeah, because it's so
yes.
offensive.
Right, my daughter does it every single hour of
No,
every
but
single
I'm just
day.
saying, like, you
Okay,
know.
well, I've got a question for you then.
Okay.
I think maybe
Okay.
you wear trousers every day,
Yeah.
right?
Come and get them. Come and get them, baby.
They're Velcro like a stripper's.
One of the things I do lament
Yeah.
about my modern life is at the age of 44, no one wants to take my trousers off.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, it's diminishing one of your senses. It's like if I ran up to you and like popped a couple of earplugs in.
Confusing. Confusing. I don't know if I'd hate it. Depends how busy a day I'm having. I might quite like
depends on the
it.
environment.
Yeah. Or
It's shocking behaviour taking someone's glasses off.
Because
Come on.
it's all you've got, isn't it? It's like a child.
It's just really.
You don't have to
debilitating.
ask the question.
Yeah.
Sounds
It's a
like
real
you've,
fuck you.
sounds like you've done it though.
Yeah, I haven't done it.
Imagine him under Arsene Wenger though. He didn't have those rimless ones, didn't he? So he couldn't really see where the glasses
So what
were.
are you most annoyed about? The fingerprints on the
Fingerprints,
lenses?
like if you were going to take them off like that.
Oh yeah, fingerprints would be bad. You
If
don't
somebody takes them off like that, possibly it's a precursor for lovemaking, absolutely fine, right?
I don't think Kenya had that in mind.
But the problem is non-spectacle wearers, they handle the glass too readily.
Oh, yeah, I know
It's
what you mean.
just poor.
Well, one of the very aesthetically pleasing things about this game as well that I don't think this may have ever happened before. And I'd like to put it out to our listeners to see if this has ever happened before. First goal scored 30 minutes.
Yep.
Second goal scored 60 minutes. Exactly third intervals for the 90-minute game. That is pleasing.
That is, yeah.
It's basically like watching a movie and have it or a TV show and having the advert breaks at exactly the right point. The goals are exactly punctuated at exactly the right time.
Was it as pleasing as the punch, kick, and headbutt combo?
No.
No.
No, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like a Neapolitan ice cream.
Yeah. I like
It was the imperfect hat trick.
Cunha scored a lovely goal, but no one cares.
But I'm such a
That's
beauty.
why he's Insta in it, probably.
But that's what I mean, like with Cunha, though, that he just basically decides they're going to score.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about that goal is when you watch it after it's gone in, he's fuming.
Yeah.
He's so angry. Clearly, this is a guy that doesn't like losing, and that's informed what's happened later on, isn't it? It's a very interesting side of his character.
He totally lost it.
Yeah.
That was proper red mist stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see that. What you
Yeah, because Gordon's one for Newcastle was it's just stupid.
and what it is a lot of players now are very, very different to when, say, Keane and Vieira played. It's a couple of generations ago now. They're so drilled to be disciplined in loads of different areas of their lives now.
Yeah.
You just don't see that as often. And even if players momentarily lose it, you can regularly see them kind of getting it back again.
Yeah.
Cunha, he goes mad.
Yeah.
It's almost the only thing. It's not as bad as this, and I apologise for bringing it up. It's the most head loss thing I've seen since Barton that time, where he just goes for after everyone. Was it when he was playing for QPR against Man City?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And he ended up getting a big ban, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was going around. I think he tried to kick the shit out of Sergio Aguero.
Oh,
he
yeah.
knew he was getting sent off. That went on for a lot longer because obviously he's a despicable human being. But you don't see it as often these days.
No, you don't.
It's maybe Simeone puts a switch in all of his former players. Just presses a little button, bang, off they go.
Yeah, it could be that.
Could be that. Yeah.
Could be that. I want to mention Sam Johnson because shame for him he was on the losing side because some of the saves he made late on in the game. I mean, Bournemouth again would have been relieved to have won that because had they have not gone through, considering again
How good they've been this season.
how good they've been this season, and another side that never won the FA Cup, all that kind of stuff. This was there for the taking, especially when Wolves go down to 10 men. But even before that, I mean, Bournemouth were really knocking on the door. A couple of goals very marginally ruled out. One of them, it took 7.5 minutes, though, with a VAR check to determine. Any word on that? Or do we...
Yeah, I mean, it's boring to talk about it for too long, isn't it? But I think the reason it took so long was that they're using the semi-automated offside technology now, and immediately one comes up that's too complicated.
which they
We need
can't
semi-automated
use.
offside anywhere else in the world.
I'd love to know if when they're pitching for that business to
Yep.
get that contract with the Premier League, at any point in the pitch they mention if there's too many players in the way, it won't work.
How many
Because
are in
that
a
to me
game
seems-
again?
As long as we came from Padel.
Yeah.
that's the only one we can sort of work on.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Because if you're a player, And you have to wait 7.5, 8 minutes.
You've warmed down.
Yeah.
It's dangerous
But
as well.
it must be why there's so many hamstring injuries
Yeah,
happening now.
it's part of it, I would imagine.
Do like offsides take that long normally though? Because I mean, it doesn't take 8 minutes usually. Did they just take some time to go from the automated decision to?
They had to move to the other
They had to sort of
side,
go right.
Which
And
is
then
why there
the-
was a handball as well, wasn't there?
Yeah,
So-
which is why the
And then-
referee went over to the managers and explained it.
And the guy probably forgot his pen, so he couldn't draw the lines. Yeah,
But justice was done.
it was. They got through.
They go to the computer and says updates required. Oh no!
Like you every time we have a Zoom.
Every
meeting.
time I Zoom call, yeah.
And they got Man City at home next, but Bournemouth, and I think again they have to fancy that as well.
Well, and again,
They've been brilliant at home, haven't they?
They have, but the other sides in the competition wouldn't have wanted to face Bournemouth, and they wouldn't have wanted to face Man City. So there will be a big one there.
There's only 8 teams left though. You've got to face someone.
You do. No, I think basically my tactic for going as far as you can in the cup is to just crouch in a corner and hope for a bye. Yeah, and you just ride that. as well.
Run up and lift the cup before whoever actually wins it.
You got disqualified because he didn't turn up. Tell that to the
Didn't
travelling
beat us.
supporters. Yeah. No one didn't beat us. Can't beat us if we don't turn up.
Can't complain about this picture I've just taken. Yeah.
Yes, well, but I mean that is, Man City playing Bournemouth. We'll talk about Man City in a bit, but again, Bournemouth will not fear them. They are up for the cup.
It goes back to what I said earlier though. You've got to play the team rather than the idea of the team.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's what's. And when there's a change of the guard between Man United not being very good anymore, Man City being inconsistent or whatever. It's easier said than done, but you've got to get past it. You've got to go, right, this is how shit they've been this season. So we
Let's
can
make
do
it
as well.
worse for them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We've mentioned a few red cards today, obviously. Did you see that the joint fastest red card in English professional football was handed out on the weekend?
Yeah.
It went to Shrewsbury Town striker John Marquis. Are we going Marquis or Marquis?
It's Marquise.
It is Marquis.
He used to play for Pompey, so I know that.
Ah,
for
there
a
you go.
fact, yeah.
He was sent off 13 seconds after kick-off, straight away, bang, for an elbow to the face.
How did he? Presumably that ball got like smashed into the sky to be high.
It was. They cut the kick off. Ball went back.
Right.
He's a forward player, so he went forward to try and start to engage the defender.
Yeah.
And
Ben Thatchered it.
it wasn't as
Well,
bad.
quite
as
as
true,
bad as
true,
that,
true,
but
yeah.
he
And
led with the elbow.
Yeah.
Ben Thatcher is the...
That was a crime.
Yes,
Like, that was
it
genuinely a
It
crime.
was. Yeah,
He did like the
that's
hand
correct.
grenade move before he hit it.
Yeah, I mean,
Strong.
what I don't understand though, it is a contact sport.
It is.
So
It
why
is,
not
yeah.
elbow
So you can
someone
do
else?
whatever you want.
What are we going to do? Remove elbows?
Did you see the Gareth
When you're in that rectangular octagon, you do what you like.
in your little pants?
As long as you went to go for the ball.
There was
That's all it
there was
is.
a great quote from Gareth Ainsworth, who seemed to argue that. I'll just read the quote to you. I don't think it was a red card. John's devastated in the dressing room. So that's not a reason. That's not a reason. Okay,
dear.
ref,
Are they in the rules?
if you definitely
Is
want to
somebody
stick to
devastated?
this, if you definitely want to stick to this red card, would you mind coming down and time just seeing how upset he is?
Oi, I didn't mean to call that pile on in the M25. Yes, well,
I don't want it to be a red card. Does that influence your decision at all?
I don't like this.
There was also a goal directly from a corner in this game as well.
Oh,
I'm
lovely.
interested.
I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
it all went off at the
Arsenal-esque.
with the old shrews.
Yeah.
Talking of refereeing things, did you see that Premier League referee Rob Jones used his weekend off to referee a Birkenhead Sunday League game in his full FIFA ref badge and a whole outfit business?
I guess he probably doesn't have any other sort of referee gear, do you?
I think he does.
On one hand, yeah, fine. On the other hand, come on.
but
On
like,
4G?
Yeah.
I like it though. If,
I
you,
like
if you're
it.
one of the
In
players, I
Birkenhead.
think you'd appreciate it. Would you?
Yeah,
Not?
I think so.
Oh, it's exciting in a way, isn't
Didn't
it?
have to have his name on the back. No, he didn't.
Also, like some of the photos, like the background, just a fat sub in the background. It's like you don't have a FIFA refereeing kit on for this.
It's great
4G
to see
as well.
someone who's genuinely that passionate about refereeing in the same way that it's like Alex Iwobi secretly playing five-a-side with his mates, but like the referee
Or
version.
when Nico McBrain, the drummer of Iron Maiden, I think he's actually retired from them now, but he used to, when they weren't touring, to keep his hand in, he used to play drums in an Iron Maiden tribute band.
That's
I like
amazing.
that.
That is
yeah.
good.
It's the same
He
kind of vibe.
don't half look like him, that one.
Yeah.
But I like it though, because if any player though, and you imagine, football's football the same the world over. It doesn't matter if you're playing in the Premier League or Sunday League. People will moan and shout at the ref, and every time they shout at him, he just taps the FIFA badge.
Yes.
Exactly, come on.
Yeah, they are. Sod that.
Yeah.
I hate my family.
He's like, he's just
I don't like being at home.
you typing in how to become a ref. Yeah. I mean, he's probably just pleased not to be
Imagine
refereeing
Peter's
the
a
tennis,
ref.
couldn't you?
It's our ball. Well, all right. No, it wasn't. It was our ball.
When I've got
What-
when I've got to run the line
I'll
and
get
I've got
you
my
another
little
ball.
flag, I do get very excited. If the ball goes anywhere near the striker, he doesn't even have to touch it. I've got my flag up.
Pete,
Oh,
imagine,
you gotta
imagine,
touch it.
imagine you refereeing a game.
Yeah.
when I'm playing in my pomp.
Oh,
It'd be
dear.
no piece of quality. I get every decision.
Why do you play football at the weekend? And you post a picture on your Instagram.
Oh, that was from a while
That's
ago.
before,
Oh,
yeah. It
right,
come up in
okay.
my memories. I sometimes share that on the
My
Instagram.
memories.
Yes.
Your iPhone just says to you sometimes, here's what you used to be able to do.
Luke Moore's memories. That's a separate podcast, though.
Yeah, you have to pay for that one.
Coming up after this,
Not financially.
you can't keep that guy Welbs down. Manchester City 3, Plymouth Argyle 1. Heartwarming, wasn't it, to see them come back and show that they've got a bit about them?
It was.
This is what we want to see.
Yeah, I think that's the real story from the weekend, isn't it?
The pundits on ITV, Michael Brown and Karen Carney. It was more Michael Brown. They're going on about, Kevin De Bruyne, fantastic. And wouldn't it be great in his last season to win the FA Cup? And I thought, no.
What are you talking about?
I was like, has he not won enough?
There's only one show in town here.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I get it from one angle that you've been a fine player. You couldn't begrudge him and all that kind of stuff. But I was a bit like,
That's not the narrative that we want to imagine here, is it?
yeah, a last minute squirmy goal against, say, like a side who've never won the cup before. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Give us more of that.
The romance.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, Plymouth, though, I tell you what, they got us going, didn't they? They bloody got us going.
It's what we were desperate for on Friday, wasn't it? And they
was.
delivered that at least. The scenes in the away end were just so
It's worth it, isn't it?
joyful.
It's worth it.
It is worth
Big
it.
old trip, that. And
And especially coming off the back of them beating Liverpool, this is still a historic thing.
it is absolutely. And I think also when you look at the physical profile of that Man City backline, Plymouth would have looked at it and gone, this is the danger area.
Yeah.
This is where we can do it. We can just bludgeon our way in from a set piece, which is basically they did with the world's hardest bloke.
Yes.
Well,
Very much an Erling Haaland kind of physique on him.
yeah.
But
But just,
Maxim Televerov.
but just tougher, I think. I don't think Cunha would have kicked off against him.
Touching interview he gave after the game.
Yeah.
When
It was.
revealed He hadn't seen his father for
Very
3 years.
emotional
Awful,
weekend for...
awful situation.
Yeah, one can't imagine at all. But when he scored, I think everyone around the country was going, "Oh, here we go again! Come on,
Yeah.
come
You know
on."
what, it's like when Leighton Orient scored against them first. It's like it's like, could it happen? But then
And again, Man City fans, it's because you're a really big team and you're the champions of the Premier League and all that kind of stuff. Okay, when people go, "Why haven't I got? Why? What about Arsenal? What about?"
well, I can add a bit more to that. If you
Please,
want.
go on then.
It's 'cause a lot of your bellends. It is, isn't it? I mean, be honest.
You stand bolt upright when you score goals.
Be
You
honest.
don't really
Yeah,
see
Yeah,
them
but
celebrate all
I
that
don't really
much.
know that many Man City fans.
I haven't seen the Poznan for a while. Have you? Have you?
I don't know about
Where's your
that.
Do it
Poznan?
outside the court outside.
Which fan base though, in
I
particular?
love it when they're outside the court out.
Yeah. Well, they like to look the other way about
Yeah.
that stuff.
No, but if they get done, if they get done, and what the lawyers who win it do the Poznan.
Yeah.
Just if they got like
In
a
the
slightly
dock.
less punishment than people were expecting, get the Poznan out.
But which fan base from, let's say, on big clubs, do you not think that you just, no, they're all right? This isn't any, is
In
it?
fact, you put me on the spot here. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Portsmouth fans are good.
No, I said big clubs.
Fulham then.
No, I'm talking about, Anyway, it's a silly chat.
What you were doing is
Yes.
a little bit of
Trying-
sophistry, is saying
Yeah.
we're only having a go at Man City, or we're only saying we want them to lose in a game against Plymouth because they've been so good. Now that may well be the case for you,
Yeah.
and it's
I think it's for most
and
people.
it's partly the case for me, but it's also because when you are a team who comes in and torpedoes the entirety of English football, much the way Chelsea did before, much the way teams may do in the future if the rules don't stand up and stuff, don't be surprised. As part of the cost of doing business, other people think you're.
Yeah.
Right.
And want you to lose constantly.
Yeah,
And
that's
other
how it
teams
is.
raise their game against
I'm just
you.
saying, let's be honest about it.
Why don't you ever go at Nicola O'Reilly?
I wouldn't dream of doing that. Lovely young man. Very pleased for him.
For now, though, if he's really successful, it'll be fucking boring, won't
Yeah.
it? Quite soon.
I hate that he's at the regime.
But presumably he's a Man City fan as well.
I'm sure he
So
is.
why don't you ever go at him?
Exception that proves the rule. Yeah, like the bloke who was cutting the Victoria sponge cake at Fulham. Got no
Lovely.
problem with him. Yeah,
Need to meet that guy one day.
lovely stuff. Yeah,
I'd love a
you
slice.
should get back in touch with your old man.
There we go. Well, he stopped serving the cake. So yes, Man City.
It was a boring situation. It was great for a bit because Plymouth,
Yeah.
put the frighteners up them and did some stuff and scored first, etc. But then Man City just turned the screw, as you probably thought they would do. What was really frustrating about it, and I'm sorry to cut him, but was they scored just before half time when you go, okay, right, there's no real way they can, spin that positively. So it was a bit of a shame.
It was a bit of a shame, but there we are. One positive for us as England fans, you might say, is Jack Grealish played 90 minutes for Manchester City. Now, Luke, you and I will be chatting about him and how we can get his career going again on YouTube this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he
do
won't
get
be in
involved.
the England squad, will he?
Apparently, Thomas Tuchel has made contact with him.
Oh,
But I mean, that's
To say,
well. I
F
don't know if it's Tuchel himself, but they do reach out to a lot of players, of
Yeah.
course, because injuries and whatnot. And
Yeah.
just saying, do you fancy it? You know, have you still got the tracksuit? we do need it back. Yeah. That kind of thing.
I mean, we will be doing a YouTube video. It'll be great, and we're looking forward to it. But I mean, spoiler alert: if it comes up whether he's going to play for England in this new squad for Thomas Tuchel, I'm going to say no.
Also, if you do watch the video, you can see Luke's new tash.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, me and Pete. We've got 50% tashes on the show today, and 50% glasses, and you're contributing none of them.
Yeah, what am I contributing?
How long have you got?
I reckon you could grow
all
a
of
moustache in
the,
like 5 minutes, Marcus.
Yeah,
if
you
wanted
could.
to.
Yeah.
I have
only got one.
campaigned vigorously for Marcus to grow a beard for a long time, and he won't do it because it's too itchy.
Too itchy? Just get through the
itchy phase, you're fine.
A couple of weeks,
Then
then
you're
you're absolutely
Don't
fine.
want to.
Fair enough.
Come on.
But you are welcome
Keep
to
drinking beer, you'll like it in a minute. No, no, not interested.
That's Pete every night to his partner.
One day I'll get to the bottom of this collection of beers I've got.
All right, elsewhere in the FA Cup, Brighton beat Newcastle 2-1 after extra time. Oh, Peter.
Oh dear. Never mind.
Danny
That's,
Welbeck, though. Come on.
Oh,
I'll tell you what.
That was
I'm a Mackem at heart.
dink.
It was a lovely finish.
I'm a Mackem at heart.
That's what Danny Welbeck
That's what
said.
Danny
not
Welbeck
me.
said.
Oh, true, yeah. True,
That was funny,
Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
wasn't Pete sort of like switching allegiances
Well, it could
in
have
real
been.
time.
It could have been.
I'm trumping it.
Careful. Danny Welbeck said that, didn't he? When it was on the Brighton social media feed when they're filming all the players coming off the pitch and they're all going, yeah, and all this. And he's like, some bloke give me abuse there. You must know I'm a Mackem. He's only on loan there for a season.
I forgot he'd gone there, to be honest. I was like, that's a bit rude. Oh, he did play for them fine.
Yeah, that loan period.
Good on him.
Sunderland has that effect on you.
Yeah, I noticed that it was annoying that Minty scored for Brighton, which was quite
Why
upsetting 'cause
apologise?
Well,
The fans didn't have any sympathy for you when you gave away that penalty and Isak scored it.
He's another one who had a busy afternoon in the FA Cup, wasn't he?
Yeah, lovely penalty from Isak, but it's all forgotten about because of that stabbed dink by Danny Welbeck.
It's
Come
been-
on,
it's-
Wales.
I think it was it a stab dink?
A stink.
stinker, a real stinker.
Stinker, yeah.
What did you think it was?
Yankobi stinker.
It just feels like it was more than that
Stretched
because it went quite high.
It was
Yeah.
a
was a dink,
roofie.
though?
It was a roofie.
A power dink. I think it's a power dink.
A smasher.
Okay. A
It
smasher.
wasn't a smasher.
A rooftop smasher.
It wasn't a rooftop
It was a rooftop smasher.
Are you talking about the penalty? We're talking about Welbeck.
I actually was in the toilet when Welb scored, and
Treat yourself to a beer.
I was gonna say,
From the other system.
you went too early there, didn't you?
My mate's watch came up with the logo saying Brighton have scored. So the Brighton logo came up on his watch. And he went, "Oh, Brighton have scored." I went,
What, you in the toilet together?
Yeah, this is the worst time. This is the worst time the worst sort of way of finding out that Newcastle have gone 2-1 down
Why were you-
via a logo on a,
Oh,
on a,
I know
on a
why.
watch.
Because
I
he was
know why.
making egg mayo sandwiches.
No, because you were an afternoon indie night for old people.
Yeah, saving nightclubs. One
That's what a cause.
saving nightclubs.
right,
That's what
okay.
we're doing.
There we are.
At the pink toothbrush in Rayleigh.
It's baffling to get through a conversation just about a game with you, about a team you support. Say something about the game.
It was an astonishingly poor set of events. Not only the sending off, but it looks like Isak and Trippier won't be available for the final, depending on what goes on. So,
Why is that?
Liveramento's
Injury reasons?
crocked. Yeah, just crocked. Everyone's crocked.
It's just
it's
it
not
does
looking great.
does seem to be. Why is it? Plymouth are the only team that have stood up to Liverpool in any competition this season. Everyone else is just they see them coming, they go, "Oh, you guys are good. Just roll over. Fine, we'll get some injuries. We'll get out of this."
There was one very enjoyable moment, which was Anthony Taylor explaining one of his decisions to the crowd on the microphone. We've been expecting this to happen for a while, and that's a lot of fun. And we are going to get a situation where there will be a referee explaining, for example, why Liverpool have been denied a penalty in a strong Manchester accent. And it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
when you see NFL referees do it, they're all quite hard.
Yeah.
They're all ripped, and it's all like no nonsense. They press a little button, they say it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And no one says anything.
Do you think the referees should be trained? Get them in.
Yeah, well,
That's the answer,
Do you
surely.
think the referees should be trained to be able to do regional accents? Would that soften the blow?
All right, La.
yeah.
Exactly.
I feel sorry for Gordon, and I know
Why?
that
It's a sending off.
I know it is,
He
but
pushed his head.
it is a sending off.
It's a silly one. It's
really
yeah, I know what
silly.
you mean. I do.
I
Feel
think
sorry.
pointing and laughing does kind of it's beyond the
He
pale.
shouldn't have done it, and I get why he got the decision. And I'm not saying the decision should be overturned, but he's probably in a split second cost his chance
Yeah.
of being on the wrong end of a cup
It
final.
looked exactly like that, didn't it? It looked like just a moment where he just stopped thinking and was just
Yeah.
reacting emotionally.
That
Maybe I don't know.
sucks.
Maybe Van Hecker sucd him in some way. I don't know.
Oh, no,
Because
it's
it's a
sucked in
mad
his hands.
decision otherwise.
But it is a sickener, though, as you say,
Yeah.
Luke, because he's been a brilliant player, and you don't want to see anybody miss a cup final for crying out loud, but especially
Don't
a
grab
crucial
men's
player.
heads.
Well,
Crying
but
out
especially a crucial player for a side who will be the underdogs on the day.
Yeah, and I find this whole situation around Newcastle quite interesting because at some point, the ownership are going to want to win something.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not the greatest look in the world to, you haven't won it. Newcastle haven't won anything since like 1956 or something like that.
69 was the first cup, but 55 was the FA Cup. The domestic
okay, right,
trophy.
yeah. Oh, the Fairs Cup.
Fairs.
Fair Cup.
Fairs fair.
Fair's enough.
There we go.
But at some point they're going to want something, right?
Yeah,
and they're going to want.
That was the project, and they want. I get the sense that they wanted it earlier because they had a massive kind of a lot of changes in the boardroom.
And does the League
before
Cup move the
start of
dial?
season.
Probably does. League
Probably
Cup,
would,
be
yeah,
big.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's the only thing that they would have won in my lifetime, certainly. So, like,
Oh, I mean,
and my lifetime is getting longer by the minute.
Yeah, it'd be massive though. And as people say that Newcastle have been in the Champions League. They've been in the Champions League very, very recently, and of course that's something to aspire to, and that's great. And
It's a marker, isn't it?
it is. And the win against PSG, of course, was a huge moment, and people still talk about the Asprilla hat trick against Barcelona. These are great collector's items.
Yeah.
But my goodness, if you can say, that day at Wembley where we won the cup and so on. Have you managed to source a ticket, Peter?
No, I haven't managed to source a ticket yet. I have got feelers out. I am quietly confident, but
Are you going to
due
take
to certain changes in my life, I can't afford $2,000 worth of ticket this time round.
Are you going to take on another man's name to get into Wembley this time?
Could
I'll
you
just pop in, yeah.
could you sell some sandwiches between now and then?
Yeah. Sort of
I've just looked up.
do a
And
Deliveroo with jam sandwiches.
Newcastle also won the 1975 Texaco Cup.
Oh,
Beat
You'll never
Southampton
sing that.
2 legs in the final.
I think we won a Hong Kong one a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, 2 legs in that.
The
Yeah.
Hong Kong Cup, I think we won
Yeah.
for you. And Intertoto, of course.
Yeah, but it is gutting for Anthony Gordon, and if Isak is not there, I mean, they'd be hopeful, of course, he'll recover. But suddenly the mood has shifted, and I think they've got to be careful. The club may well appeal the Gordon one, but I'm not sure.
That feels like one of those ones where they had another game on for bad behaviour.
Yes,
Frivolous.
exactly. Can we rearrange some
'Cause they're
fixtures?
so busy.
Yeah, can we arrange some fixtures in between now and then so he does make it? But great for Brighton though, Jim.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, since they got gubbed 7-0 by Forest, they've won 5 games in a row, and it's their most consistent form of the season, their most consistent form under Fabian Hürzeler. Because they've been funny, haven't they? They've kind of struggled against the kind of teams lower down in games where you'd expect them to turn the screw a little bit, and they've been better against the bigger sides. But they seem to be sort of correcting that a little bit now. And it's only his first season. He's only 24 or whatever it is. But it feels like he's kind of getting to grips with that squad now, and their style of play is a bit clearer. And they're clearly tough to beat, aren't they? They just weren't having it at the weekend, and I think they're kind of dark horses. Actually, they're in a really good spot to maybe kind of fly up the table a little bit at a crucial time.
Well, I mean, depending on the result tonight, they could have a chance of revenge against Nottingham Forest. But you're right, though. I mean, you look around the draw, and it is open in a way because there's only one non-Premier League side in there, which is of course Preston, who got a very good win over Burnley. I mean, to score a goal against Burnley is a rare thing, but to get 3
It's
of
the first time
buggers-
they lost in 20 plus games. Brighton have still got to get past. It's Brighton or Hove Albion, isn't it, against Nottingham Forest or Ipswich? They've still got to beat Hove Albion in the next
they
round.
do.
Right?
They have to do that.
Till they get to the next round.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So you look around that draw, as I say, it's open, but Aston Villa.
It's open as long as Bournemouth do their bit.
That's right. But Villa themselves obviously beat Cardiff 2-0. Asensio scoring and Rashford assisting to him again. It seems like quite a well-trodden path.
Great stuff.
It's lovely, this
Yeah.
little combination that's come out of nowhere. Who could have predicted that?
It's like a new detective dramas on telly.
At some point, Watkins will say, "Can you just can I get
me
involved?
involved, yeah.
Can I get involved?"
So he could be like, what could happen is because they're at the moment they're like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
Right.
There's one of the Lethal Weapons films. Joe Pesci gets involved.
I know, there's a few of them he gets involved.
Yeah, so maybe Watkins could be the Joe Pesci.
I love the idea that he gets involved. Like he's just turned up on the set.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought-
Joe Pesci. Can I have a go?
Well, actually,
sure.
I think a better one would be when Chris Rock gets involved.
Okay, yeah.
Because Pesci's... Ollie Watkins is Pesci.
Why?
Come on.
Yeah, he's not the same profile.
Because Chris Rock comes in and it's got to the point, I think it's the 4th one, where it's kind of like, I think we need a new... Not a leading character, but we need someone who's a supporting actor who's decent and adds a bit more something.
Yeah.
So to the Rashford Asensio, I know they've just turned up on loan, but
All right. I should have just gone Three Amigos.
there you go.
isn't it?
That's fine.
Turner
Steve
and
Martin,
Hooch.
Chevy Chase, and Martin Short.
Yeah.
Turner and Hooch is just a bloke and a dog, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Doesn't
correct.
really work.
I thought it was
does
the same.
it? Yeah.
We've been amazing, spurious films.
Three amigos, there's three of them, Pete, and there's three players. That's how it is.
All right, Starsky and Hutch.
And Hooch.
Hooch, yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
Jamie
and Ollie
Vardy's
Watkins.
Hooch.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
So Villa are in there. And again, they'll have taken a tie against Preston, but Preston, quarterfinals for the first time since 1966.
Yeah, got a home draw as well. That's what they wanted, wasn't
That's
it?
what
Great
they
year for
wanted.
English football, wasn't it?
David Kent's was born.